morning, my name is Kirsty Dignam and I'm here to look at the energies. I don't know how long for actually, I was going to say of this week for Monday's Musings as I do normally, but this weekend I'm going to be in Brighton studying womb massage, which is something I've tried to get myself on the course for about 9 years now. And it does mean that I'm actually away from the Friday through to the Monday, Tuesday. So whereas Monday's Musings would normally be for a week, I won't be back to do next week's reading on the Monday at least. And I started to think about what this reading will actually be. Will it be for a week, for 2 weeks, for the full moon that's coming up this weekend? Will it be about Mercury going backwards, which is happening this weekend? And there's a great emphasis on that, trying to figure out how long something will be for and how much that can take us out of the moment. So, I could spend the beginning of this video, like I always do, and it's very poignant, it's very relevant, talking about the things that have happened to lead me to where I am. Just like us all in life, we can express our story and speak of how we got to where we currently are. But this reading, I was going to say this week, but this reading in particular feels as though it's very poignant to be in the moment, not to forget what has got us to this moment, and not to run ahead of ourselves and figure out how long this moment is for, but just to be in this moment. So with that in mind, I am literally going to get on with reading whatever wants to come through for whoever and for however long it needs to be, and just trust the process, which feels like key, right? What comes to us for as long as we need it. I can really relate to that right now. And again, I could speak of everything that would highlight how I can relate to that. Sometimes it's just enough to say that we can appreciate the energy and that we can relate, and then just allow whatever needs to be heard to actually come through, rather than expressing how we can relate or why we can relate, because then it kind of makes it about us. Okay, so with that in mind, I'm going to hand it over to the universe. We're going to do a reading and we're going to see what needs to come through for whatever needs to come through. So this card has just fallen out and it is the Ten of Swords. Now I'm noticing that a lot of the deck is upside down. It isn't the whole deck, so it isn't to do with positioning, it isn't to do with the environment around us right now with the Ten of Swords, but it is that some factors are reversed, and it is that we're going to have the opportunity to look at as we do head into the Mercury retrograde period, but also as we head into the Pisces full moon, right? We get a chance to see things from all different angles and possibly from a reversed perspective. It may feel as if we're going backwards for however long this reading is, in life in general. It may feel as if we're going backwards, but actually a lot of the time we're giving a chance to look at the mental ideas that may need to come to an end in order to truly move us forward in those Ten of Swords. Now, it's not about letting go of the thoughts. It's not about having to force the removal of, no one wants to be on the Ten of Swords, right? But it is about remembering that the Ten of Swords is the end. Okay, in the tarot, there's no good, there's no bad, there's no judgment. They all have polarities, all of the cards. So the Ten of Swords is the end of the overthinking. It is the end of feeling as if we've been stabbed in the back. It is the end of feeling as if we can go no further. That doesn't mean we can force that. That doesn't mean we can push it before it is ready. It is about knowing that this too will pass. Okay, so with that in mind, and that feels like key, keeping that in mind, that this too will pass. Whatever it is we are experiencing, good and bad, that's what I hear, good and bad. Everything has a cycle, right? Everything goes up, everything goes down, everything has a season, and really appreciating where we are. And that can be very difficult when it's difficult times. It is about remembering that the difficult times are also what helps us gain the more positive perspective on things. It is through our journey that we find the skills that we need to appreciate our very path. My CD player is getting stuck underneath the table, which is interesting. And that feels like a broken record, right? That's what I can hear, a broken record. And on the top of the pack, we do have the Sun card here. Just put that up close to the screen. All you can actually see on this card is that our arms are open wide. And if things do feel as if they are like a broken record, and underneath we have the Seven of Wands reversed, if it feels as if we are really having to protect ourselves, to be defiant in who we are, as if our surroundings and our life is a continuous broken record, the CD player under the table is stuck on the sacral part of the CD that I'm listening to. So it is really about opening our hearts to something new, then opening our hearts to the light of the situation. Have we really allowed the gift behind the lessons to be embodied within us? Have we received what it is we were searching for within us first? You know? Okay, so it feels like there's more to that, but then that could be the very card we have underneath is the Two of Wands, and it's like that searching for something more. Maybe I need more before I can actually move forward. And the card underneath is the Knight of Pentacles. So it is about letting go now of all that that has been weighing you down and moving forward with the one principle that you want to take forward. What is it you are grounding yourself in? This week, this month, as we go into the next year, actually, what is it you are taking forward? What is it that has given you solidity, that has given you abundance, that has given you strength this whole year? Take that forward. Okay. I'm looking at the chimes in the back of my room, and what I can hear is pipe up, pipe up. Ask for what it is you want, but also receive, receive what you want. Allow yourself to receive what it is you are going after. Okay. Is there anything else? So my mind started going to the elections today in the UK, not the elections, sorry, but the choosing of the next Prime Minister. My mind started to go there, and I really didn't want to go there actually, because personally I just didn't want to go there, and that's my prerogative, right? But it felt like I needed to step into why I didn't want to go there. So this week, this fortnight, this upcoming energy today, even look at why it is we may not want to go somewhere. Because for me, I know there's a lot of emphasis that it will be a female prime minister that we get next, and the card that we actually have is the Three of Cups. So it is that sisterhood, that creating in our own sisterhood here, and that is where the change is actually needed. Okay, so underneath we do have the Seven of Wands. So, and then the Ten of Swords again. What is creativity to you? What is it that needs to change in how you create? We can get very defiant in who we are and almost quite defensive, especially in the Seven of Wands, and that can really help, but it can also put us in a little safe bubble. And what I really see here is, in order to move forward from our own negative restrictions, we need to look at individually and collectively what it is we're trying to create, who can help us do that, and what changes we need to put into place. So I will share that this morning a lot of stuff came up with my inner child, and it was very much about embracing that aspect of myself to create those changes. So one of the cards I've left from this pack indoors, and it's the Two of Pentacles. And at first I thought, gosh, can I leave a card out of the pack and give a true reading? Can I leave that part to one side and give a true reading of what the universe wants to say? And I left the Two of Pentacles with my inner child. So really it's that emphasis of, can I leave the importance of balance in the hands of, I just hit the microphone, in the hands of my inner child? Actually, yes. The things that bring us joy, that bring us hope, that bring us beauty, the very wonder of the world often relies on our relationship with our inner child. And this week in particular, balancing that out. What would your inner child say about a situation, about what is occurring for you? I have no idea what that is in relation to our Prime Minister. Yeah, wow, no idea at all. So, okay, let's have a look at that. Let's have a look at what is trying to come through for that. Okay, so I don't particularly get involved with politics. I don't particularly get involved with mainstream media or things like that. And actually, I kind of like to keep my own energy to myself. And what I'm really seeing here with the Moon card and the Nine of Wands reversed is that illusion. Okay, it's that illusion that we cannot keep our energy to ourselves. It's all part of the one. Yeah, we have the Two of Cups here and the Fool underneath, really uniting with that innocence within us, really uniting with the cycles of change, really uniting with the understanding that any need to defend things now is actually coming from a place of illusion. It's coming from a place of separation. It's not coming from that space of unity. It's not coming from that wanting a new change, wanting a new beginning. So when we defend our journey, God, thank you. When we defend our journey, when we defend our path, when we do things as we've always done them, there will be no change. It will be coming from this constant illusion that this is how we have to do it. And where that's actually coming from is a wound from a separation somewhere along the line. So in order to bring that union together, it is about flipping that need to defend on its head this week, really looking at where that is coming from, what we might need to do in time for the full moon in order to not be submerged in these emotions that could rise, and just lift it up, connect to the innocence this week, connect to the opportunity of change. So let's have a look. Let's have a look at, okay, what I'm getting is a medicine wheel, the soul collective. Let's have a little look at the soul collective as it stands at the moment. So before I do that, I have the Seven of Cups, the Ten of Cups, and the Page of Wands, and they're all kind of upside down. So there is this illusion here, this indecision about what it is that makes us happy. And because of that, not knowing what it is to ask for, they're all upside down. Let's turn them up on the right way up. They're all upside down, they're all reversed. So it isn't actually as black and white as that. It is looking at the belief behind our understanding that we don't know we don't know what we want. Actually, it's there. What we want is there, and it is really connecting to that this week on a soul level. Understanding that what we want on a soul level collectively is one and the same, and connecting to those that want the same thing. I can hear that song. We dream the same dream, want the same thing. Okay, and being honest and brutally honest with that this week. So I'm seeing the analogy of the left wing and the right wing belonging to the same bird, and I 100% agree with that. It's a beautiful saying, but we have to ensure that the bird wants to fly if we're trying to fly. We have to ensure we know where the bird is headed. Okay, we do all belong to the collective. However, within that collective, we all have certain roles, and it is about ensuring that we are in the right space and the right time and place, connecting to the right energies for, our role within the huge collective that we are. Okay. So, know what you do. Know the structure that works for you, and bring it into everything that you do this week. So with that in mind, I'm going to do the medicine wheel. So there's a great opportunity to look at a week's energy, a fortnight's energy, a month's energy, a moon's energy. We're heading into Pisces full moon, right? The messages there are huge. They're, you could end up down the political arena looking at messages. You could end up looking at your own messages. You could end up looking at collective messages. This week, they are monumental. It's like a gateway has been opened. And what I can see is a lot of horses running. I can see a lot of horses running in my mind's eye because the gate is open. It's like, oh, I can connect to this, this, and this. And there's great opportunities and potentials this week. Find what works for you through the whole journey of this year, perhaps even your whole lifetime. Find what works for you and make sure you're aligned to that in these opportunities. So, the Sun card. So a few days ago, I had to order a replica of my midwifery certificate in order to do the womb massage that I want to do this weekend. I'd burnt the last one. I burnt the last one in ceremony, and I burnt all my academic certificates. They meant nothing to me. I'd moved on. It was all a rites of passage, and it was really great at the time. Having to get a replica of my certificate just made me look at my past with a different perspective, a more logical, analytical perspective, i.e., what the have I done? What did I do? Where was I? Where was my head at back then? And that may come up this week. But what I gained from it all was the recognition from a dear friend of mine that I am a midwife. I may not be on the register, but that I am a qualified midwife, and that no one can take that. Life can't take that. That's a tool that I now take forward in everything that I do. So this week, with all these opportunities going on, with all these offers, with all this potential, with all these messages and confusion and emotions and everything coming through, who are you? Who have you always been? What is your light? Open to that. You can't see. And that's the thing. There's a lot of people out there that can't see their own light. Open to your own light this week and let the opportunities align with that, with who you actually are. Okay, so on a soul collective, I feel a lot of ancestral energy coming in, a lot of grandmother type energy coming in, and it's beautiful. And what I'm seeing is it linked to the Fool card. We've got the Ten of Swords again at the bottom of the pack, linked to the Fool card, and it's kind of like recognizing the inner child is our inner wild, and seeing that innocence for the maturity that it can actually hold. So I did, of course, think, am I actually leaving the Two of Pentacles, the balance, in the hands of my inner child? And it is recognizing that a lot of work has been done with the inner child, a lot of reconnecting and healing has been done with the inner child. And in order to really truly see the light of the inner child, of our own innocence, it is sometimes really valuable to let that lead the way. And being open to the fact that there's a great wisdom in there, great wisdom in our youthfulness, in our innocence, in what many are seeing as naivety. You know, it takes great courage to see the world for what it is and still be open to new beginnings and different ways. Stay in that space this week. Okay, and then we have the World on the bottom of the pack, and that felt quite important before we look at the Soul Collective, to look at our own place in that first. Okay, to look at our own place in the world this week. Right, okay. I want to put two cards to one side, and the two cards that we have to one side are the Five of Swords and the Emperor. Really managing our mind, okay? Really, if we want to get past this halfway point of the Five of Swords, not listening to that nagging reflection of what we don't want to be. And it's going to come up. It's going to come up in the dreams. It's going to come up in conversations. It's going to come up in messages that we see. Recognizing that if we are having reflected back to us things that are stopping us, it is looking at why we would attract them in the first place. Okay, and really being an emperor of that this week, really changing the game. Okay, really standing firm in who you are, what you've discovered, and what you're trying to build. Let yourself be the foundation this week, building from there. Okay, and really honing into the messages that you are receiving and how you are going to interpret them and the actions that you are going to put in place. I'm going to sneeze. That would be a first. Not quite. Oh, gosh. So obviously I release in many different ways, and when it comes to tracking energy, it's normally yawning or burping, but that one was a real, I could really feel it like a sneeze behind my third eye and down here. And what I heard was they knows. So you know what is your reality, you know what is your truth, and it is about not seeking out things that are going to re-enhance a belief that's just going to keep you in one place this week, but about knowing that only you can do that, only you can change what is going on in your mind and what is occurring in front of you. Okay, so that feels like there's a bit of a trigger there. And what I needed to do in order to sneeze, what we all need to do in order to get over that, to release that belief that we can't sort out what is going on for us, look to the light. You know, when we look to the light, we sneeze, look to the light, look up, keep looking up this week. Okay, so smack bam in the center of the Souls Collective, we have the Two of Cups, but it's the Two of Cups reversed. It isn't the union that we're looking for right now. For whatever reason, whether it's family, relationships, work, it isn't quite right. Okay, so the potential is there, but there feels like there needs to be some shifting and some moving forward. And in the unknown, in the space of the North Hummingbird, the ancestors, we have the Chariot. How do we move forward? Right, the Chariot is upright, so the Chariot is very emotional. We're talking Cancerian, we're talking sideways movement. So recognizing that in order to move forward, the first thing we need to do is realize what is right and what isn't. Okay, and taking a breath and pausing, topping up our own cup, acknowledging that first and foremost. Now that is the bravest thing for us to do, is to say this isn't quite working for me, and pausing with that, allowing that conversation with ourselves, with each other, with the collective, with the universe. So in the Chariot, in the space of the North, we do have the potential to move forward, but it is in the space of the unknown. So there is movement. It may not quite be what we expect. It may be sideways. It may feel like we're going backwards and forwards, especially with Mercury this weekend. But it is movement, and that is key. Things are moving, and just acknowledging that and riding our own emotions with that, because the Chariot is linked to Cancer and emotions. Okay, so really riding our own emotions in regards to movement, what movement looks like to us, how we react when it might not quite be how we would like. You know, it's those horses running from the gate. Yeah, it's that balance, that balance between freedom but also steering ourselves in the direction that we want to go. It is again in the space of the North, so we are talking, like I say, hummingbird. So it is about keeping ourselves, when you think of the hummingbird, the wings go really, really fast, right? The environment around us is really fast, but the center, hit the microphone again, the center of the hummingbird is still. So finding that stillness within, that strength within, in the spaces of the unknown, and allowing all of this just to sort itself out around us. Okay. The hummingbird also feeds from nectar. Will only feed from things that bring joy, sweetness, because there's a long journey. It's the hero's journey with the hummingbird. They fly great distances. They know that they need sweetness, they need sugar, they need things that are going to help them go the distance. So this week, in the space of the unknown, what brings you joy? What brings you joy when you're feeling uncertainty collectively, when we're not sure? What brings us joy? And lastly, it is in the place of the ancestors. So being open to potential programming that we may have inherited in regards to moving forward, and union as well. So in the space of the East, in the space of Eagle and Condor and clarity and new beginnings, we have the King of Swords. If we want things to give us the answers that we're trying to find, it is about connecting beyond our own hopes, beyond our own beliefs, beyond our own journey, and going that little bit higher to answers that have no view on the situation, right? How many times do we go to people for advice that are in similar situations? And it is about recognizing those that can relate and just listen to our story, and those that can relate and almost want to put their story on us. Now, that's not to say that that's not beneficial, but it is about recognizing your journey and somebody else's journey. And if you want advice on your own journey, seeking beyond opinions, views of others, you want something different, seek beyond what is comfortable. Go that little bit further. Keep the mind open this week. Ground in the wisdom that you have discovered. By all means, we have an owl at the bottom there. Ground in that wisdom by all means, but know that that's not the end of your knowledge, that's not the end of your knowing. And if we apply what we have discovered every time to new things, it kind of limits our lessons, our understanding, our ability to branch out, right, mentally. Okay. So to have an air card in the space of great eagle, in the space of fire, really to me speaks very much about if we want these new beginnings, if we want these new ambitions, these desires, if we want to dream the dreams we dare to dream, it is about connecting wingtip to wingtip with that higher vision now. Okay, and really knowing that we can achieve it, but also connecting to those that help us to move in that direction. So in the space of the south, in the space of Amaru, mother of waters, great serpent, what is it we need to shed? What is it we need to heal in regards to our relationship on the earth? You know, our emotional relationship as well. And it's the Six of Cups. So it is that inner child, right? This week, really, really, really nurturing the growth of the inner child. That's what I hear. The growth of the inner child. And what I love about this card is that it has animals on it. And we're speaking of unconditional love here. And you can see that it is the relationship with our animal self, our selka, our divine light, our unconditional love for ourselves, our inner child, that has actually led to the maturity now available. Now I want to turn the Two of Cups upright. We only ever connect with people from the level that we connect with ourselves. So that Two of Cups, that union, has to come from within first. This week, the more we connect to our inner child, the more we connect to the wisdom that we have gained throughout our life, the more we connect to the joy and the sweetness and that higher hope, that higher light. The inner child has a higher light. The moment we connect to that union with ourselves becomes more sacred and with others. And then in the space of the West, in the space of Otorongo, Jaguar, we have Ace of Wands. We have that fire, that new beginning. And it is about feeling that now. Jaguar and the West speaks of our physical body and our shadow, okay, and death and rebirth. Does something give you spark? Does it inspire you? Is it that Ace of Wands? So here we have that sneeze that I felt earlier from behind the third eye. Is it inspiring you? Yeah, if it isn't inspiring you, let it go now with gratitude and beauty, because it isn't. My nose is running. I can feel it. Excuse me. Gosh, because it isn't from the higher vision here of the third eye. So big clearings with the third eye as well over this time period, however long this time period will be, because we are uniting with our higher self as well. Okay, so let's have a little look. Gosh, my nose. Let's have a little look. We have 1, 2, 3 major arcanas. We have the Emperor, the Chariot, and the World, and really, really, really recognizing that in order to move forward with your place here in the universe, it is about owning who you are, owning who you've always been, and bringing that forward. The only new beginning here is how we see that, how we see ourselves. Okay, we then have 1, 2 cup cards, 2 of Cups, and the 6 of Cups. Reunite with your inner child, reunite with that harmony of emotional flow that is available. We then have 2 sword cards, so again, beautiful balance there, and it's the 5 of Swords and the King of Swords. In order to move forward mentally, we need to take how we think about things to the next level now. It is in regards to our masculine and our actions. Taking it to the next level now, really seeking guidance that has gone beyond anything that we've tried before. And we have 1 wand card actually, I was going to say that, oh, excitement, but no, when I tune into this card, what I feel is spiritual contentment. Okay, so there's I can't remember who said the quote, but when something feels content, when it feels right, we feel peace. When something is exciting and oh god, and we feel ungrounded or anything like that, yes, it can be a new beginning, but when we're feeling at peace with the fire of our own soul, we connect to that higher self. And I'm trying to think of that. I'm trying to think of the quote. I think it's about love. I think it's about love. I can't remember. I'll see if I can find it and maybe use it as an opening statement. But, you know, rebirth and new beginnings, yes, they do call to us. Yes, they can ignite a fire. But this time it feels like it's a spiritual fire that needs to be ignited. It needs to be part of this vision that we've had for ourselves all along in order to be the new beginning. So, I'm going to pick these up. I can see a tissue on my table and I'm picking up the cards, and what I really feel is pick myself up. I'm going to pick these up. Okay. And what I'm going to do, and I was a little bit dubious about doing it because it takes too long, but actually it's important. I'm going to turn everything upright. So this reading is very much about turning everything up now, picking everything up, putting them all in the right direction, putting everything in the right direction to get that clarity that is now needed. Take the time to do this. Be grounded in it. So I nearly just dropped the cards as I was putting upright the Three of Swords, the Page of Wands, and the King of Pentacles. So be grounded in what it is that you want. Be grounded in what it is you are manifesting. Make sure your heart is in alignment with it. And it's not coming from a place of wounding, okay? That feels really good to get everything upright, to get everything clear. Okay, so for however long this reading is for, let's have one card. We're back to the sun. We're back to the sun card and the Nine of Wands underneath, which is now upright. And now all I'm drawn to in the Nine of Wands is the light that she's using. Not the fence beneath her. It's so small, anyone could step over it. It's not actually a boundary. Yeah, when she's got that light, she doesn't really need it. But it is this time about really opening. Hang on, the Eight of Swords was upside down. Interesting. Really opening to the light that we are and using that to guide us forward now. Stepping over any boundaries we may have to that, whether it's inner child, higher self, the vision that we're trying to achieve. Opening, embracing, receiving the light that we are in order to step over any walls that we've put in the way of that. Take care, and I will see you whenever I see you.